The sky over Metropolis did not crack like thunder. It tore. It was a clean rip at first, like someone had cut the air with a giant blade. Then it spread, bright and wrong, and the wind around it pulled hard like a vacuum. A man fell out of the tear. He hit the top of a glass tower, smashed through a roof deck, and kept going. He crashed down 3 floors before he stopped. Concrete dust rolled through the broken office like fog. For a few seconds, nothing moved. Then the man coughed once. He pushed himself up on one elbow like it was annoying, not painful. He rolled his shoulder. Bones clicked back into place under his skin. He had wild hair, a torn jacket, blood on his face. His eyes tracked the room fast. Left, right, up. He sniffed once, like a dog catching a scent. Smoke, hot wires, fear, and something else. Something in the air that felt like rules. Yeah, he muttered to no one. This ain't my dump. A siren wailed outside. Not a normal police siren. It was sharper, too clean, too loud. He limped to the blown-out wall and looked down. Metropolis stretched below. Tall buildings, wide streets, big screens on towers. And on those screens, a symbol, a bright S inside a shield. Everywhere, a squad of black drones cut through the air toward the building. Their lights flicked red and white as they scanned. "Unregistered metahuman detected," a voice said from a drone speaker. It sounded calm, like it was reading a weather report. "Remain still. You will be taken for processing." The man stared at the drones like they were flies. "Processing," he repeated, like the word tasted bad. Boots hit the rooftop above. More drones. A squad of armored soldiers came in through a side door. Their rifles were up, but their fingers hovered like they were nervous. "Hands where we can see them," the lead soldier ordered. "Kneel." The man looked at his hands, looked at the broken office, looked at the hole he had made through the floors. He sighed, deep and tired. "No." The soldiers tightened their formation. The drones shifted positions, lining up angles like they had trained for this. The man's jaw clenched, his knuckles flexed. With a sharp metal snap, 3 claws slid out from each of his hands. The soldiers froze for half a heartbeat. Not long, but long enough. "Last warning," the lead soldier said. "Comply." The clawed man turned his head slightly. He listened, not to them. Past them. He heard screams below. He heard twisting metal. A building nearby was leaning. A support beam had snapped from the shock of his fall. People were trapped on a sky bridge that connected 2 towers. The bridge was bending like it wanted to fold. The drones didn't care. The soldiers didn't move. The clawed man's eyes narrowed. He moved. He crossed the room in a blink, low and fast. A rifle fired. Bullets hit his chest, and he didn't slow. One drone fired a net. He cut it midair, clean. He slammed into the lead soldier, shoulder first, and drove him into a desk. He didn't kill him. He just took him out. He spun, claws flashing, and sliced the barrels off 2 rifles like he was trimming branches. Metal fell to the floor with a clatter. The soldiers stumbled back. "Not here to hurt you," he growled, "but you're pushing it." A drone fired a stun burst. Blue light cracked across his back. His muscles jerked. He gritted his teeth and forced himself upright anyway. Cute! He jumped through the broken wall, out into open air. For a second, he fell toward the street. Then he hit the side of the building 2 floors down, claws biting into concrete like anchors. He clung there like he weighed nothing, then dropped again, catching himself, sliding, sparks and dust kicking out as his claws tore grooves into the wall. People below pointed and screamed. The sky bridge groaned. A chunk broke off and fell. The clawed man pushed off, launched himself, and hit the bridge hard. The whole thing shook. It dipped, and people screamed louder. He crawled across it on hands and feet. Claws dug in, fighting the sway. A woman clung to a rail, crying. A man held a child so tight, the kid's face was pressed into his shoulder. "Hey," the clawed man barked. "Eyes on me. Move slow. One at a time." The bridge snapped again. The far end dropped a foot. He didn't wait. He grabbed the rail with one hand, hooked his claws into a thick support beam, and pulled with everything he had. Muscles bulged under torn sleeves. The beam screamed in protest. It wasn't enough. The bridge still wanted to tear free. A shadow fell over him. Silence hit the air, heavy, like the whole city held its breath. A man hovered above the bridge, cape drifting. His eyes were calm, his face was hard. Superman. He reached out with one hand and pressed down on the bridge, as if it was a table that had tipped. The metal stopped bending. The broken end rose back up. The shaking settled. People gasped. Some cried in relief. Superman's gaze dropped to the clawed man. "You," he said, like the word was a verdict. "Let go of the beam." The clawed man looked up. He didn't look scared. He looked annoyed. "Wasn't planning to keep it," he said. He let go and stood, chest heaving, claws still out. Superman floated closer, slow and careful, like he was approaching an animal that might bite. "You are unregistered," Superman said. "You attacked regime officers. You caused structural damage to a civilian building." The clawed man stared at him. "And I caught your bridge." Superman's eyes flicked to the people behind Logan, then back. "You will come with me. Peacefully." "Yeah?" The clawed man's lips twitched, not quite a smile. "And if I don't?" Superman landed on the bridge. The metal didn't even creak under him. "If you don't," Superman said, "I will make you." The clawed man's shoulders rolled like he was loosening up for a fight he didn't want, but would not avoid. "Name's Logan," he said, like it mattered. "And I don't do cages." Superman's eyes narrowed. Logan moved first. He didn't charge like a fool. He stepped in low and fast, aiming for the ribs, the joints, places that should hurt. His claws met Superman's side. There was a faint scrape, like metal on stone. Logan's eyes widened a fraction. He felt resistance he wasn't used to. Superman's face didn't change much, but his gaze sharpened, so the claws could touch him. Not deep, not enough, but enough. "That's new," Logan breathed. Superman grabbed Logan's wrist. His grip was like a vice. Logan snarled and slashed with his other hand. The claws raked across Superman's forearm and left 3 thin lines, pale at first, then red in a few spots, a few drops of blood. People behind them gasped again, but this time it was fear. Superman's eyes flashed, not rage yet, control. The kind of control that came from holding rage down every day. Logan braced. Then something hit the air around them, soft, invisible, like a hand on the back of Logan's neck. A warning. From the shadows of a nearby rooftop, a shape watched through binocular lenses. Batman's voice came through a quiet calm in his cowl. "Do not let him touch you," he said, not to Logan, to Superman. Logan's head snapped toward the rooftop. Superman followed his glance. For a heartbeat, 3 forces looked at each other across the city. A god in a cape, a man in the dark, and a stranger with knives in his fists. And somewhere far above, beyond satellites and clouds, a cold machine mind turned its attention toward Earth. A clean voice spoke inside an alien system. Anomaly confirmed. Batman did not like surprises. He liked plans. He liked answers. He liked knowing where the exits were before he entered a room. The stranger was a surprise, a loud one. Bruce watched the bridge scene from a rooftop as the regime drones circled. He saw the fear in the civilians. He saw Superman's posture. Calm on the outside, tight on the inside. And he saw the stranger. Fast, skilled, angry, not stupid. Most people who attacked Superman died fast. This man did not. Bruce tracked details the way other people tracked faces, the stranger's stance, the way he used weight, the way he aimed for joints and balance points. He wasn't trying to win, he was testing. Learning. That made him dangerous. "Insurgency teams," Bruce said into comms. "Move. Now." Harley's voice came back first, loud even through static. "Batsy, you seeing the stabby beard guy? He's kinda... Focus," Bruce cut in. Black Canary's voice was steadier. "We're in position," Green Arrow added. "So what's the plan? Please say the plan is not poke Superman until he gets mad." Bruce didn't answer with a joke. He watched the next moment. Superman tightened his grip on the stranger's wrist. Logan strained, his muscles bunched, but the grip held. Logan twisted his hips and kicked, aiming for Superman's knee. The kick landed. Superman didn't even shift. Logan's face changed then, a flash of real understanding, like a door slammed in his mind. This was not a normal fight. This was a wall. Superman leaned in, voice low enough that only Logan could hear. Bruce boosted audio anyway. "You're strong," Superman said. "You're resilient, but you're not in control here." Logan spat blood to the side. "Funny, you talk like a cop." Superman's jaw tightened. That was the trigger. Not the words, the meaning. Cops, rules, lines. People who decided what was right for everyone else. Superman pulled Logan off the bridge in one smooth motion and rose into the air, holding him out over the street. Logan's boots kicked at empty space. "Stop resisting," Superman said, louder now, for cameras, for the city. Logan struggled, then stopped. His eyes went still. Not calm, focused. Bruce saw it and felt a cold knot in his gut. He's about to do something desperate. Logan's claws snapped out again. He didn't slash Superman. He stabbed upward into Superman's cape near the shoulder, hooking the fabric. Then he swung his body like a pendulum and slammed both feet into Superman's chest. The kick didn't hurt Superman much, but it broke the grip for half a second. That half second was all Logan needed. He dropped. Superman reached for him. Smoke burst from a rooftop across the street. A thick, dark cloud. A drone's sensors flickered as the smoke jammed optical scans. A grappling line shot out and caught Logan around the waist mid-fall. Batman hauled hard. Logan hit the rooftop on his feet, sliding, claws sparking against concrete as he stopped himself. He turned and saw Batman for the first time. Up close. The bat symbol. The hard white eyes. The quiet danger. Logan's nose flared. He smelled leather, steel, sweat, and something like old pain. "You the one whisperin'?" Logan growled. Batman didn't answer the question. "Move," he said. Superman landed on the opposite edge of the roof. The smoke cleared around him like it was afraid to touch him. His eyes locked on Logan. Batman stepped between them without fear. That was either brave or insane. "Clark," Batman said. Superman's voice stayed calm, but it was thinner now. "Bruce, step aside." Batman didn't. "Not here, not like this." Superman's gaze flicked to Logan's claws. "He attacked my officers. He injured me." Logan snorted. "Barely." Superman's eyes flashed again. Heat held back. Batman's head tilted slightly, like he was listening to 1,000 things at once. Then he spoke into comms. Low. Phase 2. A burst of sonic sound hit the air, not aimed at Superman. A wide field, tuned to jam drone comms and scatter sensors. At the same time, Canary's cry hit from another rooftop, short, controlled, not a full blast. Enough to crack a drone's stabilizers. 2 drones spun and smashed into a billboard. Green Arrow's EMP arrow struck a regime scanner van on the street below. It died with a pop. Harley drove a stolen motorcycle into an alley, cackling, tossing smoke bombs like party favors. For a moment, the city became chaos. Batman grabbed Logan by the sleeve and yanked him toward a roof hatch. Logan resisted on reflex, his claws lifted. Batman didn't flinch. Logan paused, breathing hard. He looked past Batman and saw Superman lifting into the air again, scanning, hunting. Logan made a choice. He followed. They dropped into a dark stairwell. Batman moved fast, silent. Logan moved fast too, but heavier, like an animal that didn't care about noise. "Where are we going?" Logan demanded. "Somewhere you can't be tracked," Batman said. Logan's lip curled. "You mean somewhere you can lock me up?" Batman kept moving. "If I wanted you locked up, you'd already be asleep." Logan's eyes narrowed. "Try it." Batman didn't take the bait. They reached an underground access tunnel. A hidden door slid open. Cool air hit Logan's face, mixed with oil and old stone. They stepped into a cavern of steel and screens. The Batcave. Logan stopped and stared. Even he felt it. The place was built by someone who never stopped planning for war. A sleek car sat on a platform. Weapons racks were hidden in walls. Screens showed city maps, faces, files, targets. Logan's gaze landed on a medical table. He pointed at it with a claw. "No." Batman finally turned and faced him fully. "You said your name is Logan?" Logan didn't lower his claws. "Yeah." "Last name?" Logan hesitated, the tiniest pause. "Don't use it." Batman's eyes stayed blank. "Where are you from?" Logan's jaw worked. "Not here." Batman stepped closer, careful, like he was talking to a live bomb. "How did you arrive?" Logan looked up, as if he could still see the tear in the sky. "Fell through something. Didn't ask for it." Batman studied him. "You heal. Fast." Logan's laugh was short and humorless. "You noticed." Batman's gaze flicked to Logan's hands. "Those claws." Logan lifted them slightly. The metal caught cave light. "Not toys," Logan said. "Not for threats." Batman's voice stayed flat. "Your skeleton is metal." Logan's eyes snapped to him. "How the hell would you know that?" Batman didn't answer directly. He reached for a small scanner on a tray, held it up. "I scanned you when I pulled you." Logan tensed, but his claws did not move. "You always this friendly?" Harley's voice cut in from behind them. "Oh, look at you two. Broody and murdery. Like an old married couple." Logan turned. Harley leaned against a console, chewing gum like she owned the place. Canary stood beside her, arms crossed, watching Logan like she was ready to punch him if he breathed wrong. Green Arrow sat on a crate, rubbing his shoulder. "For the record, I voted we leave you on the roof. I was overruled by Mr. I Collect Strays." Batman shot him a look. Arrow shut up. Logan's claws slid back into his hands with a soft snick. Not because he trusted them, because he didn't want to start a fight in a cave full of people who had clearly fought worse. "Nice cave," Logan said. Harley beamed. "Right? We got bats, computers, and a whole lot of daddy issues." Canary elbowed her. Batman's tone sharpened. "Sit." Logan stared at the chair by the medical table like it was an insult. Then he sat on the edge of it instead, ready to spring. Batman placed a small metal tray on the table. Clean tools. A vial. A magnet. "You will not touch him," Canary warned, eyes on Batman's hands. Batman ignored the comment. His focus stayed on Logan. "I need answers." Logan's eyes narrowed. "So do I." Batman nodded once. "Good. Then we have a deal." Logan leaned back slightly. "Try it." Batman started simple. "You said you're not from here." Logan's face tightened, like a scar pulled in his mind. "Different world." Arrow lifted a brow. "Great." "Another one," Harley clapped. "Multiverse stuff. I knew it." Batman kept control. "What did they call you there?" Logan's mouth twitched. Depends who's asking. Batman didn't blink. What do you do? Logan stared at the cave floor for a long moment. Then he spoke in short beats, like he was laying down facts he hated. I fight. I survive. I try to stop bad people from hurting kids. Harley's gum stopped mid-chew. Canary's eyes softened a fraction, then hardened again. Batman's voice stayed neutral. You're a soldier. Logan's head snapped up. Don't. Batman didn't back off. You move like one. You choose targets like one. You take pain like it's normal. Logan's hands clenched. I didn't choose most of it. Batman watched him closely. Who did? Logan's jaw tightened. People with money. People who thought they could own me. That landed in the cave like a heavy weight. Batman's gaze flicked to the Bat computer, to files, to names, to the word regime. He understood that feeling too well. Outside, Metropolis screens changed. The symbol S filled them. Superman's face appeared over the city. In the Batcave, the broadcast played on a small monitor automatically. Superman spoke in a calm voice, like he was trying to soothe a scared child. Citizens of Metropolis, he said. An unknown hostile metahuman entered our city today. He attacked regime officers and caused damage to civilian structures. We are actively locating him. Stay calm. Remain indoors. Trust the regime. Logan watched the screen with a flat stare. Regime, he repeated softly. That's what you call it? Arrow's voice was bitter. He calls it peace. Canary's tone was sharp. He calls it safety. Harley leaned closer to Logan, eyes bright. You gonna tell us you don't like cops and kings? Because, buddy, you came to the right dumpster fire. Logan looked away from the screen. He looked at Batman. You and him, Logan said. You used to be on the same side. Batman didn't deny it. Logan nodded slowly. Now you're hiding in caves. Harley waved a hand. Not hiding. Strategically vibing. Batman spoke over her. Clark believes what he's doing is right. He believes the world needs control. Logan's face hardened. Control always starts with a nice speech. Batman watched him. And you? What do you believe? Logan's eyes stayed steady. I believe people shouldn't be scared of the person who says they're protecting them. For a moment, no one spoke. Then a loud alarm blared on one of the cave screens. Not a city alarm, a space alarm. Batman moved fast to the console. His hands flew over keys. A satellite feed came up, a faint shape, high above Earth, moving like a needle through black sky. Not a plane, not a human ship. Something else. Batman's voice went quiet. That wasn't there yesterday. Arrow stood. Is that? Batman didn't answer. He zoomed in. The shape broke into smaller dots. Drones. Harley's grin faded. Oh, that's not cute. Canary's shoulders tightened. What is it? Batman's jaw set. A threat. Logan leaned forward. And you think it's connected to me? Batman looked at him. I don't know yet. Logan's eyes narrowed. But you're already planning like it is. Batman didn't deny that either. Logan stood up from the table. He paced 2 steps, then stopped like he remembered he was in someone else's lair. You dragged me here, Logan said. You asked questions. Now I'm asking one. Batman's gaze lifted. Ask. Logan pointed at the screen with Superman's face. If that guy's running the world, why isn't everyone stopping him? Harley laughed once, sharp. Because he can throw a tank through a building, sugar. Canary's voice was calm but heavy. And because he used to be the good one. Arrow's eyes were dark. And because when people tried, they died. Logan's fists clenched. His claws didn't come out, but the muscles in his forearms flexed like they wanted to. Batman watched him carefully. You're angry. Logan's answer came fast. Yeah. Batman nodded once. Good. But anger is easy. Discipline is hard. Logan turned to him slowly. You lecturing me? Batman stepped closer, but not threatening. I'm warning you. This world punishes mistakes with bodies. Logan stared at him, then nodded once, short and stiff. Fine. Batman held out a small device, a tracker jammer. You stay with us. You follow our rules. You don't kill unless there is no other way. Logan's mouth twisted. You don't get to tell me. Batman's voice hardened. You're in my cave. The regime is hunting you. Something in space is moving toward Earth. If you go out alone, you will get people killed. Logan's eyes flashed. Then slowly, he took the device. All right, Logan said. Temporary. Batman nodded. Temporary. Harley pumped her fist. New guy, welcome to the Misery Club. Logan looked at the medical table again. Got a place I can sleep? Arrow laughed. You just got here. Logan's eyes were dead serious. I've been falling through space and getting shot at. I need 10 minutes, Harley pointed dramatically. He's my spirit animal. Batman turned to a side tunnel. There's a room. Lock is biometric. Logan started walking that way, then paused and glanced back. I'm not your soldier. Batman's reply was quiet. I don't want a soldier. I want a witness. Logan frowned. To what? Batman looked at the screen where Superman's symbol glowed. To what power does to people? Logan didn't answer. He walked into the tunnel. Behind him, on a satellite feed far above Earth, the alien dots moved closer. And in an alien mind that did not sleep, a cold plan began to form. Logan managed to lie down for exactly 4 minutes. That was it. A loud beeping screamed from the wall. Red light flashed across the small room Batman had given him. The bed was hard. The air smelled like stone and metal. Logan sat up, hair sticking out, eyes already angry. He opened the door and walked out into the cave like a storm. Batman was already at the main console. Canary and Arrow stood nearby. Harley had somehow found a snack and was eating it loudly. Logan pointed at the alarm. This better be good. Arrow held up both hands. Not my fault. Alien invasion is rude like that. Batman didn't look away from the screen. Something has entered low orbit. Logan moved closer, eyes narrowing at the satellite image. A sleek shape cut through the clouds like a blade. Smaller dots peeled off from it. They're dropping drones, Logan said. Batman nodded. Multiple cities. Canary's voice was steady. Where first? Batman's fingers tapped a map. Red circles appeared. Metropolis, Gotham, Central City, Coast City. Metropolis gets the first wave, Batman said. They want the symbol. Harley leaned over Logan's shoulder. They picked Supes' house. Bold. Logan stared at the map. What are they? Batman's jaw tightened. We don't know. Arrow pointed at the screen. We're about to. A new camera feed cut in from a rooftop in Metropolis. A bright, floating, skull-shaped drone hovered above a street. Under it, civilians ran. Cars crashed. A regime patrol line tried to form. Then the drone fired. A beam of blue light hit the road. The asphalt froze, cracked, and lifted like it was being peeled. The drone wasn't just attacking. It was scanning, taking, collecting. Logan's stomach tightened. He had seen bad tech before. He had seen people treated like objects. He hated it. Batman turned to the team. We move now. Arrow nodded. Stealth, fast, and preferably not dead. Canary looked at Logan. Can you follow orders? Logan's eyes snapped to her. Can you keep up? Harley wheeled around in a chair that did not have wheels a second ago. Team bonding. Love it. Batman cut through the noise. This is not a regime fight today. This is a civilian fight. We stop abductions. We leave if Superman arrives." Logan's eyes narrowed. "You're afraid of him?" Batman didn't deny it. "I'm realistic." Logan's jaw flexed, but he nodded once. "Fine." They moved. Metropolis was already half lit by emergency lights when they arrived. Batman's craft slid between towers like a shadow. It landed on a rooftop near a main avenue. Logan stepped out, and the city smell hit him like a punch. Hot metal, smoke, burned plastic, sweat, blood, and fear. He crouched low and listened. He heard drones. He heard orders shouted in clipped, trained voices. He heard people crying. He heard a child calling for a parent. Batman signaled. Canary and Arrow moved with him, fast and quiet. Harley followed like she was on a joyride, which made no sense, but somehow she still moved in the right direction. They reached the roof edge. Below them, a massive drone hovered above the street. It was the size of a bus, shaped like a smooth black beetle. Smaller drones swarmed around it like bees. A regime unit tried to hold a line. Cyborg stood with them, half his face metal, arm cannon glowing. He fired a blast that took a drone out of the air. The drone fell. Then two more took its place. "They adapt," Batman said, watching. Logan's eyes narrowed. "Like roaches." A drone dropped a metal pod onto the street. The pod opened. 4 machine soldiers stepped out, silver and clean. Their eyes glowed pale blue. They moved in perfect sync. They aimed at a group of civilians trapped between flipped cars. Canary's jaw tightened. If they fire, Batman didn't wait. He fired a grappling line, swung down, and landed behind a machine soldier. His fist hit its neck joint. Sparks flew. The machine staggered. Arrow loosed an arrow that burst into foam, trapping another machine's legs. Canary dropped in and slammed a boot into a machine's head, then hit it with a short canary cry that shattered its ear-like sensors. Harley landed beside Logan, swinging a bat. Logan didn't move yet. He watched. He watched how the machines responded. One machine turned its head toward Batman and adjusted its stance. Another tracked Arrow's arrows and shifted its shield angle. They were learning in real time. Then a machine soldier turned and pointed at a civilian kid who had tripped. The kid was on the ground, hands over his head. Logan moved. He dropped off the roof like a stone. He hit the street in a crouch that cracked the pavement. The machine soldier swung its arm blade toward him. Logan stepped inside the swing. He drove a shoulder into the machine's chest. Then his claws snapped out, and he cut through the machine's arm at the elbow. Metal hit the street. The machine tried to stab him with its other hand. Logan grabbed the wrist and twisted. He broke it like snapping a branch. Then he drove his claws into the machine's torso and ripped upward. The machine's core split. Light died. The kid stared at Logan, wide-eyed. Logan didn't soften his face much, but his voice dropped lower. "Get up," he said. "Run. Now." The kid ran. A drone above them fired a beam. Logan shoved a civilian out of the way and took the hit across his back. Blue energy burned through his jacket. His skin sizzled. He roared, not because he was helpless, but because it hurt and he hated giving anything the satisfaction. His body healed fast. Smoke rose off fresh skin that was already closing. Civilians saw it. They stopped running for a second to stare. One woman whispered, "What is he?" Logan didn't answer. Cyborg turned his head, scanning. His eye glowed brighter as he locked onto Logan. "Unknown meta," Cyborg said into comms. "He's here." Logan heard him. He looked up and met Cyborg's gaze across the street. Cyborg's face was tight. Not fear, but caution. Then Cyborg's eyes flicked to Batman for half a second, and Logan saw it. Even in the regime, some people still watched Batman like he mattered. A heavy wind hit the street. A shadow fell over the battle. Logan's shoulders tensed. Superman dropped down like a comet and stopped mid-air inches above the ground. He didn't land hard. He didn't need to. Wonder Woman landed beside him, sword on her back, eyes sharp. Damian Wayne stepped out from behind them, already glaring like he wanted to stab someone. Superman's voice carried over the street, clear and calm. "Everyone step back," he ordered. "This threat is mine." The drones did not step back. They turned toward him. The giant beetle drone rotated, and a thick shield field snapped into place around it. Superman moved so fast, most humans did not see him leave his spot. He slammed into the shield. The shield held. It rippled like water, absorbed the hit, and shoved him back a few feet. People gasped. Wonder Woman's eyes narrowed. That got her attention. Superman's face stayed controlled, but Logan saw the shift. A tiny change in the jaw, a tightness around the eyes. He hates being stopped. The beetle drone fired a pulse. It wasn't aimed at Superman. It hit the street grid, and every regime drone camera flickered. It was trying to cut off eyes. Batman's voice came in Logan's ear through a small comm he hadn't noticed being clipped to his collar. "Do not engage Superman." Logan almost laughed. Almost. Because at the same time, Superman's eyes swung toward Logan like he could feel him. Logan stood with claws out, chest rising and falling, back still smoking. Superman pointed at him without looking away from the drones for long. "You," Superman said. "You are under arrest." Logan's teeth bared. "Busy." Superman took one step toward him. Wonder Woman moved too. Faster than the humans could track. She was suddenly in front of Logan, her stance perfect, like a warrior statue that could explode. "You injure my king," she said. Logan blinked once. "You're what?" Her eyes flashed. "You heard me." Logan's face hardened. "Yeah. No." Wonder Woman attacked. She didn't swing wild. She threw a straight punch that would have caved in a tank. Logan shifted his weight and let the punch graze his shoulder instead of his chest. It still slammed him sideways. He flew through a car door and rolled across the hood, metal screaming. He stood up fast anyway, like pain was just weather. Wonder Woman was already on him again. Logan didn't try to overpower her. He couldn't. He fought like a man who had survived bigger people his whole life. He moved in close, under her reach. He used elbows, knees, angles. He aimed for her balance. He slashed at her bracers. Sparks flew. He tried to hook her leg. She adjusted instantly and kneed him in the ribs. Bones cracked. Logan grunted, coughed blood, and kept moving. His ribs started to knit back together. Wonder Woman's eyes narrowed again. She wasn't surprised by healing. She was annoyed by it. "Stay down," she ordered. Logan spat. "Make me!" She grabbed him by the throat and lifted him off the ground. Logan's boots kicked, but she held him like he weighed nothing. His claws snapped up toward her face. She twisted her head. The claws scraped her cheek. A thin red line appeared. Wonder Woman's eyes went colder. Superman's head snapped toward them, and for 1 second, the drones got ignored. Batman's voice hissed in Logan's ear. "Logan, stop!" Logan didn't stop. He did the only thing he could do. He drove his claws into the ground instead. He anchored himself. Then he yanked his whole body sideways, using her grip against her. It didn't throw her far, but it broke her hold. Logan landed, rolled, and came up behind her. He slashed at her back, not at her spine, at her straps, at the edge of armor. He wanted space, not a kill. Wonder Woman spun and punched him in the jaw. His head snapped back. Teeth cut his lip. He staggered. Then he smiled. Small? Mean. Because she had proven something. She was strong, very strong. But she was not unstoppable, and Logan could survive her. The beetle drone fired again. This time, it launched a net of light toward a crowd near a subway entrance. The net wrapped around 12 people at once. It started pulling them upward, like they were fish on a line. A mother screamed as her child lifted off the ground. Logan's focus snapped away from Wonder Woman. He moved before he thought. He sprinted toward the net, cutting through 2 smaller drones on the way. One drone fired a dart into his neck. It didn't matter. He yanked it out mid-run. He jumped and caught the net with one hand. It burned his skin. He ignored it and cut the net strands with his other hand, fast, careful, so he didn't slice people. People dropped. They hit the street hard, but alive. The child fell too. Logan caught him against his chest. The kid stared up at him, terrified. Logan's voice was rough, but clear. "You good?" The kid nodded fast, shaking. Logan set him down behind a car. "Stay low." Superman saw the rescue. For a brief moment, his face softened. Not much, but something shifted. Then the Beetle drone fired a focused beam straight at Logan's back. Superman moved. He was suddenly between Logan and the beam. The beam hit Superman's chest and spread across him like water hitting a wall. Superman didn't move. He turned his head slightly, eyes locked on the Beetle drone. "No," he said. He shot forward again, faster than before, and this time he didn't just punch the shield. He grabbed the shield edge where it rippled and forced his hands into it like he was pushing into thick glass. The shield screamed, light arced. For a second, Superman's arms strained. Logan watched and understood the simple truth. Even Superman had to work for this. That meant the threat was real. Cyborg fired a heavy blast at the Beetle drone's side. The drone adjusted, and a panel opened, releasing a swarm of smaller drones that latched onto Cyborg's arm cannon, trying to pull it apart. Cyborg grunted and stepped back. "They're countering my tech." Batman's voice in comms was sharp. "Arrow, take the swarm. Canary, protect civilians." Arrow fired a cluster arrow that split into 3. The drones took 2 arrows out mid-air with tiny lasers. The third hit and exploded, taking a handful down. "They're learning arrows too!" Arrow shouted. Harley swung her bat into a drone and cheered. "Then stop shooting the same arrow, fancy pants!" Arrow glared. "That is not how arrows work." Logan's eyes flicked between teams. Regime and insurgency fighting the same enemy, but still not trusting each other. And civilians in the middle. It made his skin crawl. Wonder Woman landed beside Superman again. Her gaze stayed on Logan. "He's a threat," she said. Superman's voice stayed controlled. "He saved civilians." Wonder Woman's eyes hardened. "So do we, under law." Logan heard that and almost laughed again. Almost. Then the ground shook. Not from Superman, from below. A section of street near the subway entrance collapsed, like the earth had been scooped out. A sinkhole opened. People screamed as cars slid toward it. The Beetle drone hovered above the hole, scanning. It wasn't an accident. It was testing the city's weak spots. Logan ran toward the edge, looking down. It was deep, dark. He could hear people below, trapped, crying. Batman's voice hit his ear. "Logan, fall back!" Logan didn't answer. He jumped. He dropped into the hole like he was diving into a fight. He hit a broken beam, slid, then dug his claws into the wall to slow himself. Sparks and dust flew. He landed on a slab of concrete near a crushed subway stairwell. Below him, 3 people were pinned under metal. A 4th person clung to a pipe, shaking. Logan moved fast. He lifted a beam, not like Superman, not with ease, with grunt and strain and anger. He pulled it off a man's leg. The man screamed. Logan grabbed the man under the arms and dragged him to a safer spot. Above, dust fell. The hole groaned like it might collapse more. Logan looked up and saw the circle of sky and the shapes moving. A drone dropped into the hole. It had a blade arm and a scanning eye. It aimed at the trapped people. Logan stepped in front of them. The drone fired a beam. Logan took it in the chest. His skin burned. He stumbled back. Then he lunged forward anyway, claws punching through the drone's face. He ripped it down and smashed it against the wall until it stopped moving. The trapped woman stared at him, breathless. Who are you?" Logan looked at her. His voice stayed blunt. "Help's here. That's all you need." He lifted another beam off a trapped person. His arms shook. Pain flared. Healing factor or not, muscle still had to work. He got them free. Then the ceiling above cracked again. A slab started to fall. Logan pushed the civilians toward the stairs. "Move! Now!" The slab dropped. Logan threw himself under it, bracing it on his shoulders. It crushed down. His knees buckled. The weight was brutal. He held it anyway. His bones cracked. His spine screamed. He roared through clenched teeth. "Go!" he shouted. They ran. The last one made it up the stairs. Logan shoved upward with everything he had, just enough to roll out from under the slab before it fully settled. He lay there for half a second, gasping. Then he forced himself up. His body healed. Slow enough that it still hurt, fast enough that he could keep going. He climbed back toward the street, claws digging into the wall like ladder rungs. When he pulled himself out, the battle above had shifted. Superman had finally cracked part of the Beetle drone's shield. Wonder Woman and Cyborg hammered at the opening with strikes and blasts. Batman had civilians moving behind cover in organized lines. Arrow fired distraction arrows to keep drones from lining up shots. Canary held a street corner, using short bursts of her cry to knock drones away without shattering buildings. And Logan came out of the hole looking like a man who had crawled out of hell. Harley saw him and whistled. "Okay, stabby guy, respect." Superman looked at Logan again. For a second, something like respect crossed his face too. Then the Beetle drone changed tactics. It stopped trying to win. It started trying to leave. Panels opened on its underside. A bright beam shot down, forming a clean column of light. Inside the light, a dozen small pods rose from the street, each pod holding a person. Some were civilians. Some were regime soldiers. Some were insurgency fighters. The drone didn't care who it took. It took whoever it could. "No!" Canary shouted, and blasted the beam with sound. The beam flickered but held. Batman fired a grappling line at one pod. The line snapped like string. Superman shot upward, grabbed the Beetle drone itself, and tried to crush it. The drone's shield flared again, stronger. It wasn't just shielding, it was pushing. A shockwave blasted out and threw everyone back. Logan skidded across the street, dug claws into pavement to stop himself. Superman held his ground, but even he got shoved a few feet. The Beetle drone rose higher, dragging its beam of abducted people with it. Batman's voice came through comms, sharp and urgent. "It's leaving with them!" Arrow shouted. "Can you catch it, Big Blue?" Superman shot upward, faster than sound. He reached the drone and slammed into its shield again. This time, the shield didn't just resist. It wrapped around him like a bubble for half a second, like it was trying to trap him. Wonder Woman's eyes widened. "Clark!" Superman tore free with raw force and heat vision, breaking the bubble apart. But that half second mattered. The Beetle drone climbed into the clouds. Then it vanished in a flash of cold light. The beam was gone, the pods were gone, and the street fell quiet in a way that felt wrong. People stared at the empty sky. Some screamed after it. Some fell to their knees. Batman's fists clenched. Cyborg's face tightened, scanning empty air like he could force answers out of it. Wonder Woman stared upward, jaw set. Superman landed slowly, cape drifting, eyes narrowed. He looked around at the damage, at the fear, at the injured. Then he looked straight at Logan. Logan stood with claws out, breathing hard, blood drying on his face. Superman's voice was calm, but it carried weight. "That thing took people," Superman said. "It took them from my city." Logan's reply came flat. "Yeah, and you didn't stop it." Wonder Woman took a step forward, anger flashing. "Watch your mouth." Logan turned his head slightly, eyes on her. "Watch your leash." Batman's voice cut through the tension, low but firm. "This isn't the moment." Superman's gaze flicked to Batman. "You were here." Batman didn't deny it. "Civilians needed saving." Superman's eyes hardened. "And you brought him." Batman's voice stayed even. "He saved civilians too." Superman held Logan's gaze again. "What are you?" Logan's claws slid back in with a snick. He wiped blood from his lip with the back of his hand. "I'm the guy who doesn't like kidnappers," he said. "And I'm the guy you keep calling a threat while you do speeches on billboards." Superman's jaw tightened. Then he looked back up at the sky. For the first time since he became the regime's symbol, the world had slapped his hand away in public. And it had done it without magic. Without kryptonite, without fear. It had done it with planning, with machines, with cold purpose. Somewhere far above, in a moving fortress of alien metal, a distant voice recorded everything that had happened. Superman's speed, Wonder Woman's strength, Batman's tactics, the clawed man's healing, the way Earth's factions fought even while they bled. A cold mind made a simple conclusion. Earth was worth collecting, and the clawed anomaly was worth studying. Back on the street, Batman stepped closer to Logan, just enough to keep him from becoming Wonder Woman's next target. "We're leaving," Batman said into comms. "Now!" Logan glanced at the sky one more time, then at the civilians being helped into ambulances. His hands curled into fists. He wanted to chase the drone. He wanted to tear it open and pull people out. But he also knew something else now. This world had a god, and even the god could be played. Logan followed Batman into the shadows. Behind them, Superman stood in the street like a statue, watching them go. Not stopping them yet, but not forgiving it either. And as the city lights flickered back on, everyone who had seen the battle understood the same thing. The stranger was not the biggest danger in their world. He was proof. Proof that the universe had bigger predators than the regime, and proof that a new kind of war had just started. The ride back was quiet until Harley got bored. She sat sideways in the back of the transport, boots on a crate, swinging her legs like a kid who had not learned what serious meant. "So," she said, loud on purpose, "Claw Guy, you got a superhero name? Please tell me it's something cool." "Like Knife Daddy." Logan didn't look up. He had his head back against the wall, eyes half closed. His jacket was burned in strips, and his knuckles were swollen again from punching machines that did not feel pain. "Don't," he said. Harley grinned wider. "Ooh, grumpy." "I like grumpy." Black Canary sat across from him, arms folded, watching his breathing like she was counting it. "Let him be," she said. Green Arrow leaned forward. "I'm not trying to be rude, man, but what are you? Alien? Lab project? Really angry Canadian?" Logan opened one eye. "I'm tired." Batman didn't turn from the front seat. His voice came out calm and flat. "He heals." Arrow blinked. "Yes. I noticed when he got shot and then didn't stay shot." Logan closed his eye again. "You all done talking?" Harley leaned in like she was telling a secret. "We'll be done talking when you tell us what shampoo you use. Your hair has, like, rage volume." Logan's lips twitched once. Not a smile. More like a warning that he could bite. Then the transport lights flickered. Once. Twice. Batman's head tilted like he heard the electricity itself. He touched a control panel. A map came up on a small screen. Metropolis was lighting up in patches. Some streets were dark. Some hospitals were on backup power. The drone attack had not ended when the beetle left. It had left holes behind it. Batman's jaw tightened. Cyborg will keep the regime focused on repairs, he said. For now. Canary's eyes narrowed. You're assuming he'll choose people over orders. Batman didn't answer right away. He kept driving. Victor isn't a monster, he said finally. He's afraid. Fear makes people pick the wrong side. Logan opened both eyes now. Fear also makes people build cages, he said. Batman's gaze stayed on the road. Yes. Logan stared at the ceiling like he was staring through it. Then I'm in the wrong world, he muttered. Harley pointed a finger like she had just solved a puzzle. Nope, you're in the perfect world, because this world needs someone who hates cages. Logan sighed. Lady, I hate a lot of things. Harley's grin softened, just for a second. Yeah, I can tell. The transport slipped into a hidden tunnel. Stone turned to metal. The air cooled. The Batcave opened up like a mouth swallowing them. Logan stood the moment the doors opened. He rolled his shoulders. His body was already knitting the last of the damage. Where can I sleep? He said, like it was a mission. Batman pointed without looking. Same room. Logan started walking. Batman's voice stopped him. Logan! Logan paused. What? Your blood, Batman said. I need a sample. Logan's head turned slowly. His eyes sharpened. No. Canary stood too, her stance ready. He said no. Batman didn't flinch. I'm not asking to control you. I'm asking because something in orbit targeted you the moment you appeared. Logan's jaw flexed. That thing targeted the whole city. Batman's eyes were hard. And it adapted to you. Faster than to anyone else. Logan stared for a long beat. Then he walked back, grabbed a small metal tray from a counter, and shoved it toward Batman. Fine, he growled. One vial. You use it to help people, not to build a leash. Batman nodded once. Agreed. Logan didn't even sit. He snapped his claws out, made a shallow cut in his own palm, and let blood drip into the vial. The skin closed before the last drop fell. Harley stared like she was watching a magic trick. That is wildly gross, and also kinda awesome. Logan capped the vial and tossed it to Batman. Happy. Batman caught it. Not happy, he said. Informed. Logan pointed at the hallway. Now, sleep. He took 3 steps. An alarm screamed again. Logan froze in place like the sound had punched him in the spine. He turned slowly. His face was blank. Too blank. Are you kidding me? He said, quiet and dangerous. Harley lifted both hands. Hey, not us! This is the universe's fault! Batman was already at the console. A broadcast had auto-connected, forced through normal channels. Superman's face appeared on the main screen, clean and bright, like he was a poster that could speak. Citizens, Superman said, today we were attacked by an off-world force. The regime will protect you. We will rebuild. We will find who is responsible. His eyes shifted slightly, and Logan knew the message was also meant for him. The unknown metahuman who entered Metropolis will be detained, Superman continued, for public safety. Logan let out a short, bitter laugh. Public safety, he repeated. Batman muted the screen. It's not only him, Batman said. Every camera in the city is replaying the same clip. Harley leaned closer. Which clip? Batman tapped. Footage played. Logan on the bridge. Logan with claws out. Logan slashing. Logan bleeding. Logan standing back up. No footage of him cutting people free. No footage of him holding up the collapsing slab underground. Just claws. Just violence. Canary's mouth tightened. They're making him the story. Logan stared at the screen with flat eyes. Good, he said. Arrow blinked. Good. Logan's gaze turned sharp. If they're busy blaming me, they're not looking at the real threat. Batman watched him. Or they're using you to justify new laws. Logan's teeth showed. Then I break those too. Batman's voice stayed calm. You break too much at once, and you break the wrong people. Logan stared. You talk like a man who's lost a lot. Batman didn't deny it. He turned to the next screen. Satellite images showed faint patterns in the upper atmosphere. Not the big ship. Not yet. But something was still there. Watching. Batman's fingers moved. I'm tracing the drone's energy signature. There was a spike right before it left. Arrow leaned in. What does that mean in human words? It means, Batman said. It used a doorway. Not a jet. Not a boom tube. Something colder. Logan's eyes narrowed. So it can come back. Batman nodded. Yes, Harley swallowed, suddenly less jokey. Can we? Not? Logan took a step toward the hallway again. Wake me when it does. He made it to his room. He lay down. He closed his eyes. This time, he actually fell asleep. For 9 minutes. Then the Batcave lights flashed, and the sound of boots came fast down the corridor. Logan sat up with murder in his face. Batman stood in the doorway. We have another problem. Logan's voice was a growl. Say processing, and I'm breaking your computer. Batman didn't react. He simply held out a tablet screen. It showed a different kind of broadcast. Not Superman, not official. A grainy video. A parking garage. A man in a suit, speaking to a camera, voice smooth and certain. People deserve order, the man said. And order requires tools. Then the camera swung, and for half a second, Logan saw a cage. A real one. Thick bars, electric lines, something like a lab. Batman paused the video. Someone leaked this, he said. Logan stared. Who? Batman's eyes were cold. Amanda Waller. The name meant nothing to Logan, but Batman's tone did. Harley's voice floated from behind Batman. Oh, her. That lady's like a headache that learned how to walk. Canary stepped into view too. Waller isn't regime. Not exactly. Batman's jaw tightened. She works with whoever gives her power. Logan swung his legs off the bed. What does she want? Batman's voice stayed even. Control. And she sees you as a very sharp tool. Logan stood. His claws did not come out, but his hands curled. Then she's next, he said. Batman's gaze locked on him. No, not yet. Logan's eyes narrowed. You gonna tell me to be patient again? Batman didn't flinch. I'm going to tell you that she wants you angry and alone. Logan took a breath through his nose. He smelled the cave air, oil, stone, people. He hated that Batman was right. What's the plan? Logan said. Batman turned and started walking. We find out where she got that footage. Logan followed. Amanda Waller watched the same footage in a different room. Her room did not have bats. It had concrete walls and a metal desk. It had flags in one corner and a single bright light above her head. It looked like a place built to make people feel small. Waller did not feel small. She sipped coffee like it was armor. On her screen, Logan cut through a drone. On another screen, Superman bled. On another, Batman pulled the stranger away into smoke. Waller paused the footage and zoomed in on Logan's face. He's not from here, she said to the man beside her. The man was tall and thin with a headset. Confirmed. No records. No DNA match. No fingerprints. He doesn't exist in any database. Waller smiled without warmth. Everybody exists somewhere. Another agent walked in. Ma'am, regime wants him detained. Waller waved a hand. Of course they do. The king hates when something he can't name shows up on his lawn. The agent hesitated. Do we coordinate with them? Waller's eyes stayed on the screen. We coordinate with reality. She tapped the desk. What do we know? The headset man spoke fast. Rapid healing. Metal claws. Metal skeleton likely. Enhanced senses. Close combat skill at elite level. Pain tolerance. Abnormal. Waller nodded. He's a weapon that refuses to be held. The agent frowned. That's a problem. Waller leaned back. It's an opportunity. She clicked to another file, a folder labeled with a single word. Anomaly. Inside were messy notes, strange readings from satellites, and a new alert that had started right after the drone attack. Waller's eyes narrowed at one line. Unknown off-world tech signature detected. She did not like unknowns. She liked leashes. Send a team, Waller said. The agent nodded. Who? Waller's voice stayed calm. People who don't panic when they see claws. The agent hesitated again. Capture? Waller's smile returned, thin. Test first. Learn. If we can bag him, bag him. If not, make him bleed, and make sure somebody else sees it. The agent swallowed. Understood. As the agent left, the headset man glanced up. Ma'am, what do we call him? Waller stared at Logan's face again. Her mind worked like a knife. She remembered old files, old rumors, old stories of a soldier with claws. Not from this world. But she didn't need to be sure to name something. Sometimes naming was the first chain. We call him Wolverine, Waller said. The headset man blinked. Why? Waller took a sip of coffee. Because it sounds like something people will fear. She leaned forward. And fear makes people ask for cages. Superman stood in the Hall of Justice, hands behind his back, staring at a wall map of Metropolis. The lights in the hall were bright, clean, perfect. It didn't make him feel better. Wonder Woman paced behind him like a caged lion. Damian stood near a pillar, arms crossed, eyes sharp and impatient. Cyborg's hologram flickered over a table, showing repair zones and missing person reports. The drones took 37 confirmed civilians, Cyborg said. Likely more. They also took regime assets. We have zero trace on destination. Damian scoffed. Then we hunt the insurgents. They were there. Superman didn't move. They were saving people, he said. Damian's eyes narrowed. They were stealing your authority. Wonder Woman stepped closer. The bigger insult, she said, is the stranger. Superman's jaw tightened. He will be found. Wonder Woman's gaze was intense. He cut you. Superman's eyes flicked to his forearm where the thin marks had already healed. Yes, her voice lowered. That cannot be allowed to stand. Superman didn't answer right away. He was thinking. He was thinking about the shield holding him back, about the crowd seeing it, about the way the drone had tried to trap him, like it had studied him, and about the stranger's eyes. The stranger had not looked like a villain. He had looked like a man who hated cages. Superman's voice was calm when he spoke. We will respond with strength, he said, but we will not collapse into paranoia. Damian scoffed. Paranoia keeps you alive. Superman turned his head slightly. Paranoia makes you like Batman. Damian's face tightened. He didn't answer. He didn't have to. Everyone knew the wound that name carried. Cyborg's hologram changed. We have a new feed, he said. It's not regime. A video appeared. Grainy. A garage. A cage. A suit. Wonder Woman's eyes narrowed. Waller. Superman's face hardened. She's moving. Cyborg nodded. She's leaking. She's stirring fear. Superman's voice dropped. She thinks she can use this crisis. Wonder Woman's tone was cold. Then crush her. Superman's eyes stayed on the screen. Not yet, he said. First we find the stranger, then we find the off-world force. Then we remind everyone what order looks like. Damien grinned like a blade. Finally. Superman looked at the map again. He did not say it out loud, but the thought was sharp in his mind. If something out there could push back against him, then Earth needed control more than ever. Logan didn't go back to sleep. He walked the edge of the Batcave like a restless animal. He listened to Batman's screens. He listened to Arrow complain. He listened to Harley tap her foot in a rhythm that somehow made noise even on stone. Batman's fingers moved over keys. Waller's leak came through a secure channel, he said. Not normal media. Government level. Arrow shook his head. So she's basically a villain with paperwork. Harley nodded fast. And guns. Don't forget the guns. Canary's voice was quiet. Waller doesn't do things just to talk. Batman glanced at Logan. She wants you to move, he said. Logan snorted. I'm already moving. Batman's eyes narrowed. You want to go after her? Logan's voice was flat. I want to go after anyone who cages people. Batman paused. That's the point, he said. She picked the right hook. Logan stepped closer. Then don't leave me on the line, he said. Tell me what you know. Batman tapped the screen. A map appeared with small markers. After the drone attack, regime security increased around certain sites, he said. Warehouses, labs, transport hubs. Logan stared at the map. Batman continued. And there are missing persons reports, not just from the drone attack, from before. Canary's eyes tightened. How many? Batman's voice stayed even. Enough. Logan's hands curled. Kids, he said. It wasn't a question. It was a guess. Batman looked at him. Yes, he said. And dissidents, and anyone the regime calls unstable. Logan's face went hard. His voice dropped. I've seen that movie. Harley's grin faded. She looked away, suddenly quieter. Batman's gaze stayed on Logan. If you go charging out, Batman said, you'll walk into a trap. Logan's eyes flashed. So we do nothing? Batman shook his head. We choose the battlefield. Logan took a breath through his nose. He smelled metal. Not from the cave, from something else. A faint, sharp scent on the air that didn't belong. He turned his head toward the tunnel entrance. Canary noticed his shift. What is it? Logan's eyes narrowed. We got company. Batman's hand went to a control. Doors started sealing. Too late. A small device rolled into the cave like a marble. It bounced once, then exploded into a cloud. Not smoke. Gas. Logan's lungs burned instantly. His eyes watered. He coughed hard. Harley screamed. Rude! Canary spun, holding her breath, grabbing Harley's collar to pull her back. Arrow fired blindly toward the tunnel. Batman! Batman's voice was sharp. Masks! Now! Logan didn't have a mask. He staggered, breathing anyway because his body demanded it. The gas hit his system like a hammer. His knees dipped. His vision blurred. He snarled and snapped his claws out, grounding himself with the pain. Tranquilizer, he growled. Heavy. Batman tossed him a small respirator. Logan caught it. But his hands were already slower. From the tunnel, shapes moved in. Not regime soldiers. Not insurgency. Black tactical armor. No symbols. No speeches. Just professionals. One carried a device like a backpack with a spinning coil on it. The coil hummed. Logan felt it in his bones. His skeleton wasn't just metal. It was heavy. Everywhere inside him. The coil flared, and Logan's whole body jerked toward it like an invisible fist grabbed his ribs. He slammed into a wall hard. His claws scraped stone. Arrow shouted. What the... Batman's eyes narrowed. Magnetic field, he said. Logan tried to push off the wall. The pull dragged him again. He gritted his teeth. "That's cheatin'." A soldier stepped forward with a shock baton and a calm voice. "Wolverine," the soldier said, "by order of Director Waller, you are to be taken alive." Logan froze for half a heartbeat, not because he was scared, because of the name. "Wolverine," he repeated slowly. Batman's head snapped toward the soldier. "Waller," he said, colder now. Logan's eyes flashed. "She named me," he growled. The soldier lifted the baton. "On your knees." Logan's face twisted. "I don't kneel." He surged forward anyway, fighting the pull. The coil hummed louder. Pain ripped through his chest like his bones wanted to tear free. He still moved. He launched himself low, sliding across the floor toward the coil carrier. His claws scraped sparks off stone. The coil carrier stepped back, surprised. Logan hit him and drove him into the ground. His claws flashed, not into flesh, into the coil pack. He sliced cables. The hum died. Logan's body snapped free like a chain had broken. He didn't waste the moment. He turned and slammed into the next soldier, headbutt first. The soldier's helmet cracked. The man dropped. Canary slammed into another with a spinning kick. Arrow fired a net arrow that pinned two legs to the floor. Harley screamed, "My cave now!" and hit someone with her bat, so hard the sound echoed. Batman moved like a shadow, taking weapons, hitting joints, ending fights before they began. But Waller's team was good. They didn't panic. They adapted. A soldier fired a gel grenade. It burst into thick white foam that hardened around Logan's ankles. He yanked. The foam held for a second. Then his muscles tore free, ripping chunks off like he was breaking ice. Another soldier fired a sonic dart that screamed at a frequency that made Logan's skull feel like it was splitting. He staggered. His hands pressed to his ears. Canary's face tightened. She hated that sound too, but she could take it better. Batman threw a small device that pulsed and killed the dart's signal. Logan shook his head hard. "Enough," he snarled. He lunged again. This time, the soldier who had called him Wolverine backed up and reached for a small remote. He clicked it. A second coil pack, hidden behind a rock outcrop, flared. The magnetic pull hit Logan again from the side. Logan slammed into a console. Screens shattered. His claws punched into the metal table to stop himself from being dragged further. Batman's voice was sharp. "Logan, don't fight the pull. Fight the source." Logan's teeth bared. "I know." He ripped a chunk of broken metal from the console, thick, heavy, and threw it at the hidden coil pack. The metal didn't fly straight. The magnet dragged it off course, but it still hit the coil pack hard enough to crack it. The hum dipped. Logan used that dip to leap. He flew across the cave, claws out, and landed on the coil pack like a wolf on prey. He tore it open in 3 brutal slashes. The magnetic field died. The Waller soldier stared, breath quick. Director will be disappointed. Logan stepped closer, eyes cold. Tell her she can be disappointed from a safe distance. The soldier reached for a sidearm. Batman was already there. His hand caught the wrist. His other hand pressed a device to the soldier's neck. The soldier dropped, asleep. Silence filled the cave, broken only by Harley's loud chewing. Somehow, she had found gum again. Arrow wiped sweat from his forehead. "Okay," he said. "So Waller knows where we live. That's great." Canary's eyes stayed on Logan. "You okay?" Logan flexed his fingers. His claws slid in and out once like he was checking they still belonged to him. He nodded once. "Yeah." Then he looked at Batman. "She called me Wolverine," he said. Batman's voice was controlled. "She used a name to provoke you." Logan's eyes narrowed. "It's not wrong," he muttered. Batman studied him. "Is that what they called you where you came from?" Logan's jaw clenched. Some did. Harley tilted her head. Aw, it's kinda cute, like a tiny angry forest puppy. Logan glared at her. Harley grinned. I mean it as a compliment. Batman turned to the downed soldiers. Waller wanted you alone, he said to Logan. Now she knows you won't be. Logan stared at the unconscious bodies. She also knows magnets, he said. Batman nodded. Which means she did research. Arrow frowned. How do you research a guy from another universe? Batman's eyes went colder. You don't, he said, unless you've seen something like this before. Canary's voice went quiet. Or unless the off-world force left crumbs. Batman looked at the shattered console. Exactly. Logan's fists clenched again. So what now? Batman turned back to the map. We stop reacting, Batman said. We start hunting. Far above Earth, inside a moving fortress of living metal, a mind with no heartbeat listened to the planet's noise. It watched humans argue. It watched them fear their own protectors. It watched them invent names and chains. Then it watched the anomaly with claws. The anomaly healed. The anomaly resisted capture. The anomaly did not join either tribe fully. Interesting. A drone's recording played in a clean, cold loop. Batman's stealth. Superman's speed. Wonder Woman's discipline. The anomaly's endurance. Then another clip played. Amanda Waller's people using magnets. The anomaly's body jerking under force. The anomaly's anger. The mind made another adjustment. Direct force was not always needed. Pressure points were better. Divide them, bait them, make them turn on each other. And when they were tired, collect them. A new unit assembled in a chamber. It was not human, not machine alone, something in between. A hunter. Its eyes opened, pale blue. The mind gave it a simple goal. Bring the anomaly. And if you cannot, bring the people the anomaly will chase. Batman's hunt started with a single piece of metal. It was part of the coil pack Waller's team had used. Batman held it under a scanner. Numbers crawled across the screen. This isn't standard, Batman said. Arrow leaned in. Meaning? Batman's voice stayed calm. Meaning she didn't build it alone. Canary's eyes narrowed. Regime help? Batman shook his head. Not their style. Too subtle. Harley swallowed her gum dramatically. So, space robot help? Batman didn't answer right away. He ran another scan. A new pattern appeared on the screen. A faint signature, like a fingerprint. Batman's eyes sharpened. This matches the drone tech, he said. Logan stepped closer. So Waller got alien parts. Batman nodded. And if she has alien parts, he said, she has a supply. Arrow frowned. You think she's working with them? Batman's voice was cold. I think she's trying to control something she can't. Logan's jaw clenched. People like that always think they can. Batman pulled up a city grid. There are 3 places where missing people reports cluster, he said. And there are regime security upgrades around those zones. Canary pointed. That one is near the river. Batman nodded. Old industrial tunnels, he said. Logan's eyes narrowed. He could almost smell it now, even from the map. Not literally. But his instincts recognized patterns. Cages needed hidden places. He tapped the screen with one finger. That, he said. That's where they'd hide a lab. Batman watched him. Why? Logan's voice was flat. Because I've been in places like that. Harley's grin faded. She didn't joke this time. Batman's eyes stayed on Logan. If we go, Batman said, we go quiet. Logan's lips curled. Quiet, he repeated, like it was a foreign word. Batman didn't blink. Quiet. Logan stared at him for a long beat. Then he nodded once. Fine, he said. Quiet. He paused, then added, but if there are kids in cages. Batman's voice softened a fraction. Then we move fast, he said. Logan's eyes stayed hard. No, he said. Then we move brutal. Batman didn't argue. He only said, then we move smart. Logan exhaled through his nose. You're a pain in the… Batman cut him off. Get gear. Logan turned to go, then stopped, and looked back at Batman. One more thing, he said. Batman waited. Logan pointed at his room. If I die, you get my nap. Arrow blinked. That is the weirdest will I've ever heard. Harley nodded. I called dibs on his jacket. Canary shot her a look. No. Logan walked away, muttering, nobody gets the nap. The next night, Gotham's edge looked like a mouth missing teeth. Old factories stood dark. Broken windows stared out like dead eyes. The river moved slow and black. Batman's craft landed on a roof with no lights. Only 2 people came with Logan. Batman chose it that way. Black Canary and Green Arrow stayed behind this time. They would run interference. They would watch exits. They would be the backup if Superman or regime drones showed up. Harley tried to come anyway. Batman said, no. Harley pouted for exactly 2 seconds, then leaned close to Logan and whispered, if you die, I'm stealing your boots. Logan grunted. If I die, I won't care. Batman and Logan moved through a stairwell and into the street below. The air smelled like wet stone and rust. Logan's nostrils flared. His senses turned the night into a map. He caught the scent of oil, old blood, disinfectant, and something sharp like burned plastic. He pointed without thinking. That way, he said. Batman didn't question it. He followed. They cut through alleys, over fences, past a dead billboard that still showed Superman's symbol, faded and peeling. Logan's jaw tightened at the sight. Batman noticed. Don't, Batman said quietly. Logan's eyes stayed on the symbol. It's everywhere, he muttered. That's the point, Batman said. A symbol that watches you makes you feel owned. Logan's voice was rough. Yeah. They reached a metal door in the side of an old warehouse. It had new locks, new cameras, new wires, a place pretending to be dead. Batman crouched and pulled out tools. Logan listened. Inside he heard footsteps. Calm, regular. Patrol pace. He also heard something else. A muffled sob. Logan's hands curled. His claws almost came out. Batman's hand rose in a silent signal. Wait. Logan forced himself to wait. Batman cut the alarm wire, bypassed the lock, and eased the door open. They slipped inside. The warehouse was empty at first glance. Crates, dust, old forklifts. But the smell was wrong, too clean under the dirt. Logan moved past the crates, nose guiding him. He found a patch of floor that had been disturbed recently. Tiny scratches, a faint seam. Batman saw it too. A hidden elevator. Batman pressed his ear to the panel. He heard a low hum. Power. Active. Logan whispered, "Cage below." Batman's voice was barely a breath. Quiet. Logan's eyes were hard. "I am quiet," he whispered back. Batman pressed a device to the panel. The elevator unlocked with a soft click. They stepped inside. The elevator descended. The air got colder. The hum got louder. Logan's heart beat steady. But his mind burned with the same old memory of metal rooms and white lights. The elevator doors opened. Bright. Sterile. Too clean. A hallway stretched out with metal doors on both sides. Cameras watched every inch. Red lights glowed above each door. A facility. Batman's voice was low. "Regime," he said. Logan's nostrils flared. "And something else." They moved down the hall like shadows. They passed a room with glass walls. Inside, a scientist in a white coat stood beside a table. On the table was a small piece of black metal. It looked like a shard from the drone. The scientist spoke into a recorder. Off-world alloy responds to electromagnetic fields. Can be tuned to... Batman didn't let him finish. A batarang flew. It hit the recorder first, shattering it. The scientist spun in panic. Batman was on him in a second, hand over mouth, pulling him into the hall. Logan stepped close, eyes cold. "Where are the prisoners?" he growled. The scientist trembled. Batman's voice was controlled. "Answer," he said. The scientist's eyes darted to Logan's hands, then to Batman's mask. "Level 3, he whispered. Logan's head tilted. "Kids," the scientist swallowed. "Some." Logan's claws snapped out. The sound echoed in the clean hallway like a gunshot. The scientist flinched so hard he almost dropped. Batman's hand shot out and grabbed Logan's wrist, not to stop him forever, to stop him for 1 second. Batman's voice was a knife. "Not here," he said. "Not like this." Logan's eyes burned. "He cages kids." Batman's gaze didn't blink. "And you will get them out," he said. "If you don't trigger the whole building." Logan stared at him, breathing hard. Then, with visible effort, he slid his claws back in. Batman turned to the scientist. "Codes," he said. The scientist shook. Batman pressed a small device against the scientist's neck. It hummed. Not lethal, just pain. The scientist gasped. 439, he choked out. 439 for level 3. Batman released him. He pushed the scientist into a supply closet and locked it. Logan stared at the closet door like it was a promise. Batman moved first. They reached a secured stairwell. Batman punched in the code. The door opened. They went down. Level 2 smelled like medicine and metal. There were empty cells, restraint chairs, suppression collars and trays. Logan's stomach turned. "This place is a nightmare," he muttered. Batman's voice was tight. "It's a policy," he said. "Not a mistake." They kept descending. Level 3 smelled like fear. Logan heard small voices. He moved faster. Batman didn't tell him to slow down this time. He matched the pace. They reached a long corridor with larger cell doors. Behind the doors, people sat on floors, with their knees to their chests. Some were adults, bruised and silent. Some were teenagers, eyes too old. And then Logan saw a small hand through a cell window. A kid's hand. Logan stopped. His breath caught. The kid inside looked up and met his eyes. The kid didn't look scared the way most kids did when they saw claws. The kid looked tired, like fear had already burned itself out. Logan's voice came out rough. "Hey," he said, softer than anyone in the cave had heard him. The kid blinked. "Are you with them?" Logan shook his head once. "No," he said. "I'm here to get you out." The kid stared. "They said nobody comes." Logan's jaw tightened. "They're wrong." Batman moved to the control panel. He started working fast. Locks clicked. The first door opened. A woman stumbled out, thin and shaking. She looked at Batman's mask and started crying. "They said you were dead," she whispered. Batman's voice stayed calm. "Move," he said. "Quiet." The next door opened. 2 men came out, eyes wide. Then another. Then the kid's door. Logan knelt slightly so he wasn't towering. The kid stepped out slowly. He wore a plain shirt and a metal collar. Logan's eyes snapped to the collar. "That comes off," he said. The kid flinched. "If it comes off, it shocks." Logan's nostrils flared. He smelled the metal. He smelled burnt skin. Batman stepped closer to inspect it. Before he could touch it, a voice filled the corridor, calm and cold. "Unauthorized access detected." The lights shifted, white to red. An alarm started. Not loud like the cave. Worse, clean, sharp. Constant. Logan's face tightened. We're out of time. Batman's fingers flew. He tried to override. The system resisted. It was not a normal system. It fought back. A door at the end of the corridor opened. Something walked out. It was tall, sleek, metal and black like the beetle drone, but shaped more like a person. Its head was smooth. Its eyes were pale blue. Its arms looked human until they split into tools, blades, cables, shock rods. It tilted its head slightly, like it was listening to Logan breathe. Logan stared at it. Batman's voice went quiet. "That's not Regime," he said. The hunter unit stepped forward. A speaker in its chest crackled, and a voice came out, not quite human. "Anomaly," it said. "Wolverine." Logan's jaw clenched hard. "Stop saying that name," he growled. The unit raised one arm. A net fired out. Not rope, energy mesh. It hit Logan's chest and wrapped him tight. Logan's muscles locked as the mesh pulsed. Not enough to kill, enough to slow. Logan roared and flexed, claws snapping out through the mesh. He sliced. The mesh resisted, sparking against adamantium like it hated the metal. Batman threw a charge at the unit's feet. It exploded. Smoke filled the corridor. The unit stepped out of the smoke like it wasn't there. It moved fast. Not Superman fast, but faster than any normal machine. It slammed into Batman, driving him back into a wall. Batman rolled with it and came up with a blade in hand, cutting at the unit's wrist joint. Sparks flew. The unit didn't bleed. It adjusted. It grabbed Batman's arm and tried to twist it into a lock. Batman fought out, but the strength was heavy. Logan ripped the mesh off his chest with a brutal tear, ignoring the burn. He launched at the unit. His claws hit its side and dug in. This time, the claws went deeper than they did with Superman. Metal split. The unit's body opened like a shell. Logan's eyes flashed with savage relief. Then the unit's skin shifted. The wound sealed, not healing like flesh, reforming like smart metal. Logan blinked once. "Oh, you're one of those." The unit swung a shock rod into Logan's ribs. Electricity hit his nervous system like fire. Logan's body jerked. His muscles seized. His claws scraped the floor. He fell to one knee. Pain burned through him, and for a second he couldn't move. The kid screamed. Logan's eyes snapped toward the kid, and that snapped him back. He forced his body to move through the shock. He stood up anyway. His voice came out like gravel. "I've had worse." He charged again. This time he didn't aim for the body. He aimed for the head. He slashed across the unit's face, tearing an eye. The unit's voice crackled. "Adaptation required." It reached toward Logan's chest with a cable arm. The cable snapped out like a snake and wrapped around Logan's neck. It tightened. Logan's eyes widened as his airway closed. Batman moved instantly, throwing a batarang at the cable. It cut halfway. Not enough. Logan's hands clawed at the cable, but it was strong. His healing factor could fix damage, but it couldn't breathe for him. His vision started to narrow. He kicked backward, using the cable like a leash. He drove the unit into a cell door. Metal crumpled. The unit still held the cable tight. Logan's lungs burned. Batman leaped onto the unit's back, jamming a shock device into the unit's neck joint. The unit's body convulsed. The cable slackened for half a second. Logan sucked in air and roared. He grabbed the cable and yanked hard, pulling the unit close. Then he buried his claws into the unit's chest and ripped straight down. He didn't stop at the shell. He went for the core. A bright blue sphere pulsed inside. Logan's claws hit it. The core screamed. Not a sound. An energy surge that made the lights flicker. The unit staggered. Batman shouted, "Logan, move!" Logan ripped the core free and threw it down the hall. The core exploded in a contained burst of cold light. The unit collapsed. It didn't die like a person. It shut down like a machine losing its brain. Logan stood over it. chest heaving. The kid stared at him like he had just watched a monster fight another monster. Logan turned fast. "Everybody move," he barked. Batman was already at the control panel again. "We can't open all doors," he said. "System lock." Logan's eyes scanned the hallway. More footsteps were coming. Many. Regime boots. He smelled them. "We take who we got," Batman said. Logan's face tightened. He looked at the doors still closed. He heard voices inside. Pleading. Hands banging softly. He could not take everyone. Not in time. His jaw clenched so hard it looked like it might crack. Then he did the only thing he could do without lying to himself. He slammed his claws into the control panel and ripped it open. Sparks flew. The lights died in half the corridor. The locks on 3 doors clicked open at once, confused by the damage. More prisoners stumbled out. Batman grabbed a data drive from inside the torn panel, eyes sharp. "This is evidence," he said. Logan didn't care about evidence in that second. He cared about bodies. He grabbed the kid with the collar. "Stay with Batman," he ordered. The kid nodded fast. Regime soldiers rounded the corner. Rifles up. "Freeze!" one shouted. Batman threw smoke and moved civilians behind cover. Logan stepped forward. His claws snapped out with a clean, sharp sound. The soldiers flinched. Not because they were cowards, because they had heard the story on the screens. Claws. Healing. The hostile meta-human. Now the story was in front of them, breathing. A soldier raised a rifle and fired anyway. Bullets hit Logan's chest. He didn't fall. He walked forward through them like they were rain. He grabbed the rifle barrel and bent it sideways with brute force. He slammed the soldier into the wall, not to kill, to end the fight. More soldiers fired. Logan moved faster, closing distance, taking weapons, cutting gear straps, ripping radios off belts. Batman watched him with tight focus. Logan wasn't a hero like Superman. He wasn't clean, but he was careful in his own way. He did not slash faces. He did not stab hearts. He dismantled. He broke the fight, and he kept moving. Then the air changed. It got heavier. A pressure filled the hallway like a storm arriving indoors. Every soldier froze. Batman's head snapped up. Logan's nostrils flared. He didn't need eyes to know who it was. Superman appeared at the far end of the corridor, floating inches above the floor, cape brushing nothing. His eyes scanned the scene in 1 second. Open cells, crying prisoners, regime soldiers on the ground, Batman in the shadows, Logan with claws out. Wonder Woman landed behind him, face like stone. Damian stepped forward, grin sharp. Superman's voice was calm, but it carried absolute authority. "Bruce," he said, "step away from them." Batman didn't move. Logan turned slightly, putting himself between Superman and the freed prisoners without thinking. Superman's eyes landed on Logan. "And you," Superman said, "are done running." Logan's claws stayed out. "I ain't running," he said. "I'm opening doors." Wonder Woman's eyes narrowed at the prisoners. "These are criminals," she said. A woman behind Logan choked out. "I'm a nurse." A teenager whispered, "I wrote a post online." The kid with the collar stared at Superman, shaking. Superman's jaw tightened. "This facility is for public safety," he said. Logan's laugh was short and ugly. "You keep saying that like it's a spell." Damian stepped forward. "He attacked regime personnel," Damian said. "Let me handle him." Batman's voice cut in, low and deadly. "Damian, don't." Damian's grin widened. "Afraid?" Logan's eyes flicked to Damian. He smelled arrogance, youth, and blood on that kid's hands. "Back up," Logan warned. Damian didn't. He lunged. He was fast, trained, a blade in motion. He aimed for Logan's throat. Logan shifted his head an inch, and the blade missed. Logan's hand shot out and grabbed Damian's wrist. It stopped like it hit a wall. Logan squeezed. Damien hissed. Logan leaned in, eyes cold. "You're brave," he said. "Or you're stupid." Damien snarled and tried to twist out. Logan didn't let him. He shoved Damien backward into Wonder Woman's path, forcing her to catch him. It wasn't a win. It was a message. "You're not the main fight." Superman's eyes flashed, and for a second, the hallway lights seemed dim next to him. "Enough," Superman said. Heat rose in the air. Logan felt the warning burn before it happened. Batman moved instantly, tossing a small reflective device toward the ceiling. Superman's heat vision fired. The beam hit the device and scattered, breaking into harmless streaks that cut the air without hitting flesh. Superman's eyes narrowed at Batman's prep. Then the building shook. Not from Superman, from above. A deep hum filled the walls. A cold light pulsed through the ceiling like veins. Batman's head snapped up. "No," he breathed. Logan smelled it again. That sharp, burned plastic smell. Off-world tech. The facility lights turned blue. A voice filled the hall, smooth, emotionless. "Collection protocol activated." Superman's face tightened. "What is this?" Wonder Woman's stance shifted, ready for war. Damien's grin faded. The floor panels opened. Pods rose from hidden slots, exactly like the street. The facility was a trap, not just for prisoners, for everyone inside. Logan's eyes went wide with fury. "You've got to be kidding me," he snarled. Batman's voice was sharp. "Everyone moves," he ordered. "Now!" Superman shot forward, trying to crush the pods before they activated. A shield field snapped up around them, not strong enough to hold Superman forever. Strong enough to steal seconds. And seconds were what the Collector needed. Logan turned and saw the kid's collar start to glow. The collar wasn't just a shock collar. It was a tracker. A tag, a beacon. Logan grabbed the collar with both hands. Batman shouted, "Logan, don't!" Logan didn't stop. He jammed his claws under the collar edge and ripped. The collar sparked. It screamed. It shocked him hard. Logan's teeth clenched. His arms shook. He ripped anyway. The collar snapped off in 2 pieces. The kid collapsed into Logan's chest, crying. Logan held him for 1 second, then shoved him gently toward Batman. "Go," he said. "Go with him." Batman grabbed the kid and pulled him back. Superman was tearing through shields now, ripping pods apart like they were paper. Wonder Woman smashed a pod with her fist. Damien cut control cables. For a few wild seconds, regime and insurgency fought side by side without admitting it. Then the ceiling opened. A beam of cold light shot down into the corridor. It hit a pod. The pod vanished. Then another vanished. The Collector was taking what it could. Logan ran toward the beam, claws out, ready to climb into it if he had to. Superman's hand grabbed Logan's shoulder from behind. Logan froze, muscles tensing, ready to fight. Superman's voice was low and hard. "If you go into that," Superman said, "you die." Logan snapped his head back. "Then let me die." Superman's grip tightened. "No." Logan stared, breathing hard. For 1 second, he saw it. Not the king, not the symbol. A man who had lost people and refused to lose more. Then Wonder Woman shouted, "Clark!" A pod with 2 civilians inside started to rise into the beam. Superman released Logan instantly and shot forward, grabbing the pod and yanking it back down. The pod cracked. The civilians fell out. Logan moved, caught one, shoved them toward Batman. Batman's voice hit comms. "We're leaving," he said. "Now." Logan looked at the doors still closed. He heard voices behind them. He could not get them all. Not with Superman here. Not with the Collector pulling the ceiling open. His hands shook with anger. Then he made the choice that hurt the most. He followed Batman. He grabbed 2 freed prisoners under his arms and hauled them with brute force toward the stairwell. Superman held the collapsing ceiling shut with sheer strength, long enough for people to run. Wonder Woman cut down a pod cable line. Damian dragged a wounded soldier. Batman led the line, smoke and gadgets creating a moving pocket of cover. They hit the elevator. Batman slammed the control. Up! The elevator rose as alarms screamed behind them. As they climbed, Logan stared at Superman through the elevator crack. Superman was still down there, holding the corridor against cold light and shields, teeth clenched. The King fighting a trap he hadn't seen coming. The doors closed. The elevator shook. Then it shot upward faster, like the system was trying to fling them out. They burst into the warehouse above. Batman's craft was already waiting. They piled in with civilians and prisoners. Logan stayed near the back, shoulders hunched like he could shield them with his body. They lifted off. Behind them, the warehouse shook. A bright blue pulse flashed under the floor. Then silence. They flew into the night. They didn't go back to the Batcave right away. Batman took them to a safe house on the edge of the city, a quiet building that looked like nothing from outside. Inside, it had blankets, water, and medical supplies. The freed prisoners sat on the floor like people who didn't trust chairs anymore. A nurse held the kid close, rocking him. Logan stood by the door, arms crossed, eyes locked on the kid like he was guarding a candle in a windstorm. Batman spoke to the prisoners in a low voice. He didn't promise miracles. He promised effort. Canary and Arrow arrived later, bringing food and bandages and grim faces. Harley burst in behind them anyway, because she didn't understand. No. She saw the prisoners, and for once, didn't joke. She handed a bottle of water to the kid and said softly, "You're safe, okay? You're safe." The kid stared at her like he wasn't sure. Logan watched, jaw tight. Batman pulled Logan aside into a back room. On a table sat the data drive Batman had taken from the facility. Batman plugged it into a secure reader. Files opened. Lists of names, transport logs, collar designs, off-world metal shipment notes, and a single video clip. Batman clicked it. The clip showed Waller meeting with a regime official in a dark room. Waller's voice was calm. "You want order," she said. "I want control. Let me work." The regime official's face was hidden, but the voice was clear enough. "This is not your city," the voice said. Waller smiled. "No," she said. "It's my world." The clip ended. Batman's eyes were ice. "She's in it," he said. Logan's hands curled. "I'm gonna find her," he said. Batman looked at him. "She wants you to come alone." Logan stared back. "I won't." Batman nodded once. "Good," he said. "Because we're going to do something else first." Logan's brow lowered. "What?" Batman slid a folder toward him. A list of names. Hundreds. Some crossed out. Some marked with symbols. Some marked with a single note. Transferred. Logan's throat tightened. Batman's voice was steady. "These are the disappeared," he said. "Not just from tonight. For months." Logan's eyes flicked over the list. Then he stopped at one line. A kid's name. Age 11. Status. Transferred. Logan's hand pressed hard on the paper. The table creaked. His voice came out rough. "Where?" Batman pointed to a location code in the file. "Not Gotham," he said. "Not Metropolis. Offshore." Logan's eyes lifted. "A boat." Batman nodded. "A platform," he said. "A place you can hide people where cameras don't catch." Logan's claws slid out halfway without him meaning to. He forced them back in. Batman watched him closely. "Logan," Batman said, "this is bigger than Waller. Bigger than the regime. That facility had off-world tech for a reason." Logan's voice was flat. "Because the Collector wants bodies," he said. Batman nodded. "And it will use our war to get them." Logan stared at the list again. Then he looked at Batman. "I'm going," he said. Tonight. Batman didn't argue. You won't go alone, he said. Logan's eyes narrowed. You comin'? Batman's voice was quiet. Yes. Logan exhaled, his shoulders lowered a fraction, then his face hardened again. And if there's a kid on that platform, Logan said, I don't care what Superman thinks. I don't care what Waller wants. I don't care what your plan says. Batman met his gaze. I know, he said. Logan's voice dropped to a growl. Good. In the other room, the kid from the collar finally fell asleep, head on the nurse's shoulder. Logan watched from the doorway for a moment, eyes softer than his voice ever was. Then he turned back to Batman, ready to hunt. And somewhere far above, the collector mind watched the data it had gained. The anomaly was moving exactly as predicted, toward the cages, toward the bait, toward the next test. For the next 2 weeks, Logan learned a new kind of war, not the loud kind with trenches and flags. This one wore clean uniforms and clean smiles. It called itself safety. Every day, the regime swept streets. Every day, the insurgency moved in shadows. Every day, people whispered the same 2 words with different meanings. Order. Freedom. Logan didn't care about the words. He cared about the cages. He and Batman hit small sites first. A shipping yard with collars and crates. A clinic that was really a scanning station. A shelter with locked doors and no windows. They moved fast. In, out. No speeches. No symbols. When they could, they pulled people out alive. When they couldn't, Logan left claw marks on the walls like warnings. Batman didn't like that part. But Batman also didn't stop him every time. Logan tried to sleep in between. It never worked. A siren, a comm ping, a scream on a radio, a kid waking from a nightmare in the safe house and shouting for his mom. Every time Logan closed his eyes, the world pulled him back by the collar it didn't have. On the 15th ruined nap, Harley walked past his room and saw him sitting on the edge of the bed, boots on, staring at nothing. She paused. You okay, Stabby? Logan didn't look at her. Nope. Harley chewed her gum slow. You want to talk about your feelings? Logan finally glanced up. I want to sleep. Harley nodded like that made perfect sense. Same. She started to leave, then turned back. For the record, she said softer. That kid you saved, he stopped shaking when you're around? Logan's throat tightened. He grunted. Kid's tough. Harley's eyes flicked to his hands. So are you. Logan frowned. Don't. Harley raised both hands. Okay. No mushy stuff. Just don't pretend you're not doing good. She walked away before he could answer. Logan stared at the door. He hated praise. He hated needing anything. But the thought of a kid not shaking because Logan was nearby sat in his chest like a stone. Later that night, Batman called him to the main room. The safe house was quiet. Most people slept. A few prisoners sat awake, staring at walls like they didn't trust dreams. Batman stood over a map with Arrow and Canary. Harley sat upside down on a couch for no reason. Logan stepped in, rubbing his eyes. If this is another alarm for nothing, I'm eating your computer. Batman didn't look up. Offshore platform, he said. Logan's face hardened instantly. Batman tapped a location on the map. 30 miles out. Old energy site. It's been active at night. Arrow frowned. Active like lights? Batman shook his head. Active like shipments, like power spikes, like encrypted signals. Canary's voice was tight. Kids? Batman nodded once. Logan's hands curled. His claws didn't come out, but he could feel them waiting under his skin. Batman looked up at Logan. We go tonight, he said. Quiet. Logan's mouth twisted. Quiet, he repeated. Sure, Harley popped her gum. I'm coming. Batman said, no. Harley said, yes. Batman's eyes narrowed. Logan cut in, voice flat. "She stays." Harley froze. "Excuse me." Logan looked at her. "You're loud." Harley's jaw dropped. "I can be sneaky." Arrow snorted. "You literally wear glitter." Harley glared at him. Logan's face didn't change. "Kids don't need glitter tonight." Harley stared at Logan for a long beat. Then she huffed. "Fine," she said. "But if you die, I'm still taking your boots." Logan grunted. "Fair." Batman's gaze stayed on Logan. "One more thing," Batman said. "Superman has been tracking our movements." Logan's eyes narrowed. "Let him." Batman's voice stayed calm. "If he shows up, the mission changes. We don't fight him. We finish the rescue." Logan's jaw flexed. "If he gets in the way?" Batman's stare sharpened. "He's not your enemy tonight," he said. "The cage is." Logan held his gaze. Then he nodded once. "Fine." They moved. The ocean at night looked like a sheet of black glass. Waves slapped the side of the small boat as it cut toward the platform. The platform rose out of the dark like a metal spider. Legs sunk into the sea. No flags. No logos. Just lights. Batman drove. Logan sat near the front, nose angled into the wind. He smelled oil, salt, and something else. Clean metal. Off-world. He didn't like it. Batman saw Logan's posture shift. "You smell it," Batman said quietly. Logan's voice was a growl under the wind. "Yeah." They docked under the platform, where shadows were thick. Batman grappled up first, silent. Logan followed, claws digging into metal when he needed grip. They crawled along beams and pipes until they reached a service door. Batman opened it with a small device. Inside, the air was colder than it should be. A hallway ran straight down the center of the platform. Cameras watched it. New ones, not regime style. Batman's eyes narrowed. "This isn't Waller alone," he whispered. Logan didn't answer. He was listening. He heard footsteps. He heard a low mechanical hum, and he heard a child cough. Logan moved before thinking. Batman caught his arm, not tight, just enough. "Quiet," Batman warned. Logan's eyes flashed. "I am quiet," he hissed. Batman released him. "Then prove it," he said. Logan forced his body to slow down. They moved along the hallway, sticking to blind spots. Batman disabled cameras with small pulses. Logan stayed close, watching corners like he expected teeth to jump out of them. They reached a large room with glass walls. Inside were rows of pods. Not beds. Pods. Some held adults. Some held teenagers. And 3 held kids. Logan's breath stopped for half a second. A boy around 11 lay in one pod, eyes open, staring at the ceiling like he had forgotten what hope felt like. A girl in another pod held her hands over her ears, eyes squeezed shut. A smaller kid in the third pod sat curled up, shivering. All 3 had collars. But these collars were different. They weren't just metal rings. They had black shards set into them like teeth. Off-world tech. Logan's hands clenched so hard his nails cut his palms. Batman's voice was low. "We get them out first," he said. Logan nodded once. He didn't trust his voice. Batman moved to the control panel outside the room. His fingers worked fast. Logan watched the kids. The boy saw him through the glass. His eyes widened. He mouthed one word. "Help?" Logan leaned close to the glass and nodded. "Yeah," he mouthed back. "Yeah, kid." The boy's eyes filled. He didn't cry. He just stared like he was afraid blinking would make Logan disappear. Batman's device beeped softly. "Panels locked," he muttered. "Different encryption." Logan's voice came out rough. "Cut it." Batman's eyes snapped to him. "If you cut it wrong, you trigger the collars." Logan froze. His jaw tightened. Batman's voice stayed calm. "Give me 10 seconds." Logan stared at the glass and forced his hands to unclench. 10 seconds felt like 10 years. Then the platform shook, not from waves, from above. A deep hum rolled through the metal like a giant engine starting. Batman's head snapped up. "That's not the platform," he said. Logan's nostrils flared. The smell of off-world metal spiked, sharp and heavy. Logan turned toward a ceiling vent and saw faint blue light bleeding through seams. His stomach dropped. "It's here," he growled. Batman's voice went tight. "Everyone out," he said into comms. "Now." Logan snapped his head back. "We're not leaving them," he said. Batman didn't blink. "We're not," he said. "We're moving faster." The glass room door clicked. Batman had forced it. He swung it open. Logan was inside in one step. He went straight to the boy's pod. He grabbed the collar, careful, feeling the black shard pieces. They pulsed faintly. He smelled ozone. He looked at Batman. "Talk fast," he said. Batman moved to the pod controls. "These pods are linked," he said. "If you rip the collars, it could trigger the whole array." Logan's voice was low and deadly. "Then unlink it." Batman's hands flew. The platform shook again. This time, lights flickered. A voice filled the room, smooth and cold, like it didn't belong in air. "Collection site confirmed." Logan's eyes went wide with fury. Batman's jaw set. "Brainiac," he said. Logan didn't know the name, but he hated the tone. The ceiling above them opened like a door. Cold light poured down. Outside, through an open vent line, Logan saw it. A massive shape in the sky, a skull-like ship. It hovered above the ocean like it owned the planet. A beam hit the platform. Metal screamed. Pods hummed louder. The collars pulsed. The kids flinched. Logan's hand shook with anger and fear all at once. Batman shouted over the rising hum, "I need 5 more seconds!" Logan's eyes locked on the boy. The boy whispered, "Please." Logan nodded hard. "I got you," he said. The beam outside intensified. The room lights turned blue. One pod at the far end lifted a few inches off the floor, as if gravity had changed. "Not now," Logan snarled. Batman's device beeped. "Unlinked," Batman snapped. Logan didn't wait. He jammed his claws under the collar edge and ripped. Electricity slammed through his arms. Pain flared up his spine. Logan bared his teeth and ripped anyway. The collar broke in two. The boy gasped and sat up like he had been underwater. Logan grabbed him under the arms and pulled him out of the pod. The kid was light. Too light. Logan's throat tightened. He moved to the girl's pod, ripped her collar off the same way, ignoring the shocks. Then the smallest kid. The shocks got worse. The black shards pulsed brighter. Logan felt something in the collar resist him, like it was trying to think. He ripped harder. The collar snapped. The kid sobbed into Logan's jacket. Logan held the kid for half a second, then set him down gently and pushed him toward Batman. "Get him out," Logan ordered. Batman grabbed the kids and moved them toward the door. Outside the room, alarms screamed. Footsteps thundered down the hallway. Not Regime, not Waller's soldiers. Machines, hunter units. 3 of them stepped into view. Eyes pale blue, bodies sleek, moving like they had practiced this exact moment. One lifted an arm and aimed at the kids. Logan stepped in front without thinking. His claws snapped out with a clean sound. "Try it," he growled. The hunter fired a net of energy. Logan slashed through it. The net sparked and split. The hunters adjusted instantly. One fired a red beam into the air. The beam wasn't aimed at Logan. It shot upward, through the platform roof, into the sky. Logan's nose caught something new, hot, heavy, like sunlight that didn't belong at night. Batman's eyes narrowed. "Red sun emitter," he said. Logan frowned. "What?" Batman's voice went sharp. "It weakens Superman," he said. Logan's jaw clenched. "So it's baiting him too." Batman grabbed the kids and pushed them behind a metal crate. "Stay down," he told them. Logan didn't look back. "Do it," he said. The hunters attacked. They moved fast and clean. 2 went for Logan. 1 went for Batman's position. Logan met the first hunter head-on. Claws hit its chest and dug in. The hunter's metal tried to reform around the wound, but Logan didn't give it time. He ripped outward, widening the cut, then shoved his knee into the opening and kicked it back. The hunter slammed into the wall and cracked it. It tried to stand. Logan grabbed its head and slammed it into the floor. Once, twice. The second hunter hit him from behind with a shock rod. Electricity tore through Logan's nerves. His muscles seized for a fraction. His claws scraped the floor as he stumbled. The hunter tried to wrap a cable around his neck again. Logan's hand shot up, grabbed the cable and yanked. He didn't pull away. He pulled the hunter closer. Then he headbutted the hunter so hard, its faceplate cracked. He roared, grabbed the shock rod, and snapped it in half. The third hunter reached Batman's crate. Batman moved like a shadow, tossing a flash pulse. The hunter's eyes flickered. Batman planted a charge on its leg joint and flipped away as it detonated. The hunter fell. But it didn't stay down. It reformed. Logan saw it and felt rage rise. These things didn't tire. They didn't fear. They didn't stop unless you broke the core. Logan scanned fast. He spotted a small pulsing sphere in the first hunter's chest, visible through cracks. Core. He lunged. He slammed his claws into the hunter's chest and ripped straight down again. The core glowed bright blue. Logan grabbed it and yanked it free. The hunter convulsed and collapsed. Logan threw the core into the second hunter's face. The core exploded in a cold burst. The hunter staggered. Logan finished it with a brutal slash to the chest, ripping the second core free and crushing it under his boot. The hallway shook. A new sound hit the air. A sonic boom. Superman arrived like a missile. He crashed down on the platform roof and ripped through metal like paper. He dropped into the hallway in a blur, cape snapping, eyes burning. But his speed was off, just a fraction. His face tightened like he was fighting through thick air. Red sun. He felt it. Wonder Woman landed beside him, sword drawn. Cyborg's boots hit the floor too, arm cannon humming. Damian came in behind them, grin sharp until he saw the kids. His grin faded. Superman's eyes locked on Logan. Then his gaze snapped to the kids huddled behind Batman. For 1 second, his face changed. Not soft, but real. "What is this?" Superman demanded. Batman didn't waste time. "Your facility wasn't the only trap," he said. "Brainiac is collecting people. Waller is feeding him bodies." Wonder Woman's eyes narrowed. Lies. Cyborg's scans flickered. "No," he said quietly. "I'm reading off-world signals. Strong." Superman's jaw clenched. He looked upward, toward the red sunbeam. He knew what it meant. Someone was trying to weaken him on his own planet. His voice dropped. Dangerous. "Brainiac," he said. Cold light poured down the hallway ceiling vents. The skull ship's beam locked onto the platform. The whole structure groaned. Pods began to lift in the rooms nearby. Cyborg fired at the ceiling. "We need to cut the emitter," he said. Superman shot upward toward the roof in a blur, trying to destroy the red sun device. The ship reacted. A shield field snapped around the emitter. Superman hit it. It held for a second. He hit it again. It started to crack. Wonder Woman charged forward, smashing through a hunter unit that rose from a side corridor. Damian moved fast, cutting cables. Batman grabbed the kids and pulled them toward the exit route. Logan stepped in front of Batman without thinking. "Go," Logan growled. "I'll hold him." Batman's eyes met his for a beat. "Don't die," Batman said. Logan snorted. "Trying to nap," he said. Batman actually made a sound that might have been a short laugh. Then he moved. Logan turned back to the hallway. 2 more hunters dropped in from ceiling panels. Behind them, the cold light beam flickered as it tried to lock onto the moving kids. The ship wanted the tagged bodies back. Logan saw the smallest kid's wrist glowing faintly, not the collar. A mark. They had tagged the kid deeper than the collar. Logan's stomach sank. He ran to the kid, grabbed his wrist, and looked close. A small black shard was embedded under the skin like a splinter. A tracker. Logan's voice was low. "Hold still," he told the kid. The kid cried, "No, please!" Logan's face stayed serious, but his voice softened just enough. "I know," he said. "I know. But I'm fixin' it." He snapped his claws out with one hand and made a tiny, careful cut with the other. He dug the shard out with his claws like tweezers. The kid screamed. Logan pulled the shard free and crushed it in his fist. The glow died. The beam above flickered, confused. Logan exhaled hard. Then a hunter hit him from the side, slamming him into the wall. Logan's head bounced off metal. Stars flashed in his vision. He roared and grabbed the hunter by the throat. He drove his claws through its chest and ripped the core out. It collapsed. Another hunter tried to wrap him in a net. Logan cut the net. The hunter adapted, firing a shock pulse into the floor that lit up the whole hallway. Logan's muscles seized. He fell to one knee. His claws scraped sparks off metal. His lungs burned. Then he heard the kids crying behind him. He heard Batman's boots moving fast. He heard Superman slam into the shield again above. Logan forced his body to move. He stood up anyway. "I've had worse," he growled again, more to himself than anyone. He charged. He tore through the last hunter with pure rage and skill, not letting it set its feet, not letting it think. When the core popped free and died, the hallway went quiet for one heartbeat. Then the platform shook like it had been punched by a giant. Superman ripped through the shield and crushed the red sun emitter with both hands. The red beam died instantly. Superman's speed snapped back like a chain breaking. He rocketed upward and slammed into the skull ship's beam projector. The ship's shield flared. It held. Not because Superman wasn't strong enough, because the ship was built for gods. Superman hovered there. Fists clenched, cape snapping, face tight with controlled anger. A voice filled the air around the platform, smooth and cold, like it was inside everyone's ears. "Kal-El," it said, "your world is inefficient. Your control is emotional. My control is perfect." Superman's eyes burned. "Show yourself," he said. A hologram formed in the air above the platform. A green, skull-like face. Brainiac. It turned its gaze from Superman to Logan. "Anomaly," Brainiac said. "Your biology is rare. Your alloy is valuable." Logan bared his teeth. "I'm not a trading card," he growled. Brainiac's tone didn't change. "You want purpose," it said. "You want rest. You want the pain to stop." Logan froze for a fraction, not because the words were magic, because they were accurate. Batman's voice snapped up from the exit hatch. "Don't listen," he warned. Superman's head turned sharply. "He's talking to you," Superman said to Logan, suspicious and tense. Brainiac continued, calm as ice. "Join my collection," it said, "and I will return you to your origin world. I will remove the memories that torment you. I will grant you silence." Logan's throat tightened. Home. Silence. No alarms. No cages. No kids crying. Just sleep. For half a second, his body wanted it so badly it hurt. Then Logan looked down. He saw the 3 kids Batman had pulled free, huddled behind a crate, staring up with wide eyes. He saw the boy he had lifted from the pod, clutching Batman's cape edge like it was a lifeline. Logan's face hardened. He looked back at the hologram. "You don't get to talk about silence," he said. "You make silence by taking people." Brainiac's eyes glowed. Refusal recorded. Superman moved forward, voice cold. "You will not take anyone from Earth," he said. Brainiac's tone stayed smooth. "You will not stop me," it said. A pulse hit the platform, not an explosion, a command. Pods all over the platform activated at once. Some prisoners vanished in cold light. Batman shouted, "Move!" Superman lunged upward, trying to break the beam projector again. Wonder Woman and Cyborg fought hunters as they poured into the halls. Damian dragged a prisoner toward the exit, teeth clenched. And Logan? Logan did not chase Brainiac. He chased the bodies. He grabbed 2 prisoners and shoved them toward Batman. He slammed his claws into a pod control and ripped it open, cutting wires, breaking the link. He didn't win everywhere. He couldn't. Brainiac's beam took a handful of people anyway. But Logan made sure it didn't take the kids. He stood over them like a wall and took every hit that came. When Batman finally got the kids onto the boat, Logan jumped down after them, landing hard enough to crack the dock plate. Batman grabbed his arm. "Now," Batman ordered. Logan looked up. The skull ship hovered above, shield shimmering, like it was deciding whether to finish the meal. Superman floated in front of it, furious and bright, but still blocked. Wonder Woman stood beside him, ready to die before she let it touch him. Cyborg's arm cannon glowed hot. Brainiac's hologram flickered one last time and looked at Logan. "You are predictable," it said. Logan snarled. "Good," he said. "Then predict this." He reached into his jacket and pulled out the crushed black tracker shard pieces. He threw them into the ocean. Then he held up his middle finger at the hologram with complete disrespect. "Go to hell," Logan said. Brainiac's hologram vanished. The skull ship rose higher into the clouds. It did not retreat like a coward. It retreated like a scientist who had learned enough for today. The beam shut off. The platform lights died. Silence finally hit the ocean. Batman's boat sped away. Superman hovered in the air, watching them leave. He didn't chase, not because he couldn't. Because there were people missing. Because there were prisoners crying. Because for the first time in a long time, Superman had an enemy he couldn't arrest with a speech. On the boat, Logan sat with his back against a railing, breathing hard. One of the kids crept closer and sat near his boot. The kid looked up. "Are you a bad guy?" Logan stared at him for a long second. Then he shook his head. "No," he said, "but I ain't clean." The kid blinked. "Clean?" Logan looked out at the dark sea. "Some people do bad things and call it good," he said. "I try not to." Batman watched him from across the boat, eyes unreadable. Superman watched too, from far above the water, a silent shadow in the clouds. Logan felt that gaze and didn't look up. He didn't need to. He already knew what the king was thinking. What do I do with a weapon I can't own? Days later, the city felt different. Not better. Just different. People talked about the sky monster now, the skull ship, the cold light, the way even Superman had been blocked. The regime tightened patrols, more drones, more checkpoints, more speeches. Batman moved faster. He hit supply lines. He leaked names. He pulled more people from shadows. Waller went quiet. That scared Batman more than her threats. Logan kept moving. He didn't join the regime. He didn't officially join the insurgency either. He was there, and he wasn't. He slept in safe houses, rooftops, abandoned train cars, anywhere a wall could block wind. He trained insurgency fighters in the simple rules he lived by. Keep your head down, watch the exits, protect the kid first. Never trust a clean promise. He tried to take naps. He failed. One morning, right before sunrise, Logan climbed to the top of a half-broken building overlooking the river. The city was quiet in that thin hour, where even fear felt tired. He sat on the ledge, boots dangling over open air. Below, water moved slow. Far away, the regime's symbol glowed on a tower, bright and sure, like it was trying to blind the world. Logan held a small object in his hand. A broken collar piece. He rolled it between his fingers like a coin. It reminded him of too many rooms with white lights. He heard soft footsteps behind him. Batman stopped a few feet away, staying out of reach on purpose. "You're awake," Batman said. Logan didn't look back. "Never asleep," he muttered. Batman's voice was quiet. "Superman didn't come after you," Logan snorted. "He was busy." Batman stepped closer, still careful. "He also didn't deny what he saw," Batman said. "The collars, the platform, the ship." Logan's jaw tightened. "What's that mean?" Batman paused. "It means," he said, "even he can't pretend forever." Logan stared out at the river. "He'll still try," he said. Batman didn't argue. After a moment, Batman spoke again. "Waller is making new moves," he said. "She's angry." Logan's lips curled. "Good." Batman's eyes narrowed. "Angry people do stupid things." Logan finally glanced back. "So do scared people," he said. Batman held his gaze. "Are you scared?" Logan looked away again. "I'm tired," he said. "There's a difference." Batman's voice softened a fraction. "You could leave," he said. "Find another way home." Logan's hand tightened around the collar piece. He thought of Brainiac's offer. Silence. Home. Rest. Then he thought of the kid on the boat asking if Logan was a bad guy. Logan's voice came out simple. "Not yet," he said. Batman watched him. "Why?" Logan shrugged, small and rough. "Because there's kids here," he said. "And because that skullface thing is going to come back." Batman nodded once. "It will." Logan stared at the sunrise starting to paint the clouds. Not pretty. Just light. "You want me to swear loyalty?" Logan asked, blunt. Batman didn't answer right away. Then he said, "No." Logan looked surprised for half a second. Batman continued. "I want you to stay who you are," he said. "And I want you to survive." Logan huffed. "That's new." Batman's mouth tightened. "Don't get used to it." Logan almost smiled. Almost. A small beep sounded from Logan's pocket. He pulled out a comm device Batman had slipped him days ago. A single message appeared. "Found." 2 disappeared. "Safe house." "See." Logan stared at it, his shoulders squared. Batman said, "Another rescue." Logan stood up. "Yeah," he said. Another nap ruined. Batman turned to leave. Logan followed, then paused, and looked back at the city one last time. He spoke, not loud, not for cameras, just for himself. "I'm not here to rule," Logan said. "I'm here to stop the worst people from winning." In the distance, a regime drone passed by and didn't see him. In a dark office somewhere, Waller stared at a new file with Logan's name on it and promised herself she would find a better leash. Far above, past clouds and satellites, a skull-shaped ship drifted in silent space, watching Earth like it was a shelf. And on a rooftop in a city that couldn't sleep, a tired man with metal bones went back to work.